Yo, what's up? It's your boy Benny Dangerous back again with another installment of 1430. I got my boy once again joining me, the homie Southside Jus. How you doing, my brother?
My brother, what it do, what the business is, man. We, you know what we here
Yeah.
to talk about.
Yeah, it's gonna be a short intro with this video because we've been chomping at the bit to talk about this. And I was like, nah, I ain't doing a video yet until me and you could do it together. Cause I'm like, we got a lot. We got a lot to discuss. I want to start off by saying back in January, I dropped a video saying that I'm done with Drake. You know, a lot of people on Instagram, on YouTube, all these other places trying to say, yo, Vinny, you tripping. It's not that serious. It was just a battle. Like, first of all, this ain't about Kendrick. This ain't about Kendrick. In that video, I detailed specifically my issues with Drake that had everything to do with how that man was moving. Sent post battle, even before the battle, like for all the dogs, dissing women that whipped and chained like American slaves line on Slime You Out. That shit pissed me off. And everything leading up to the lawsuit. The lawsuit was the final straw for me. Like old Drake, new Drake, I don't want to hear none of it. I don't want to hear none of that shit. And we're starting to see the ramifications of what this lawsuit means in hip hop. The repercussions are already being felt.
Yeah, man, this feels unprecedented.
Oh,
This
absolutely
feels
unprecedented.
this just feels. I mean, and I don't know if you want to go ahead and give the lead in as to the
Oh yeah,
latest
yeah, yeah.
developments.
Yeah, I got a little heated. I started off. I ain't even give people context. Okay, so basically, the Clipse just put out their new single,
Ace
with Ace
trumpets.
Trumpets, produced by Pharrell, and they've been doing press because the album drops the first Clipse album since like what 2006,
2009, which
2009.
was till the casket drops.
Yeah,
2009, 2010, somewhere around there. Yeah,
so like over a
yeah.
decade, like a decade and a half since their last album. And they're doing press talking about it. And one of the things that Push revealed that the album was, because the album was originally supposed to come out last year, around the same time last year, but it was delayed, and people were trying to figure out like, well, where is this Clips album? And it turns out it was held up because Def Jam, and more specifically UMG, Def Jam is a subsidiary of UMG. They were basically saying we don't want to put this song out with this album out because it has a verse from Kendrick that could be perceived as him taking shots at Drake. And it sounds
Hmm.
like whether it was UMG that was hesitant just on their own because they know how this man move, or he made the call and be like, nah, we got to stop that before it happens. And
Hmm.
that because Push is a stand up dude, he said I'm not asking him to change his verse, and I'm not telling him to take this verse off. So they ended up basically leaving Def Jam so
Hmm.
they could put out the art the way they want to put it out. But yeah, so
Hmm.
like when you first heard about this, man, how you feel? Because I know how you feel, but like let the people know because we've been talking about it for a minute.
So first, I want to say I'm gonna give a shout out to the gentleman that conducted the interview with Push and Malice, Fraser Thorpe for GQ.
Oh yeah,
Wonderful read, wonderful read. Very insightful. Man, when I first caught wind of it and I read the interview, read the more salient points, it made me think about Not Like Us and the reason why Kendrick made that record, the reason why it stuck, the reason I think it was a lot of what was lobbied and aimed at Drake during this they whole back and forth. Basically telling cuz he ain't you not hip hop.
yeah.
Now I've always been someone that has maintained, to me, I think Drake is hip hop. He was always a student of the genre. I just don't know how much of the culture he understood because he is from Canada. and not because he might have spent the summer or two in Memphis. It's just something uniquely American. I hate to say it like frame it like that, but just the culture of hip hop, how we perceive things. And when I said that, because it was later revealed that Steven Victor, his manager, said that Push was also signed to Def Jam as a solo act,
Mm-hmm.
so we had to pay 7 figures to get out the deal. And man, it just all led to me, man. Look,
That's
I know a lot
crazy.
of people feel. I know a lot of people got a lot of issue with Drake and everything, and all this. I just think it's some, all right, just some bitch. It's just some hoe. Can I curse?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You cuz.
Just some hoe ass shit, man. And I mean, he got. Everybody, look, we human. Everybody do some hoe ass shit. Everybody ain't gonna be
Mm-hmm.
always solid. Everybody gonna be 10 toed down, and I get it. But man, for if we are against in court, the antithesis of this, because and I know the counter arguments that he's suing UMG for defamation. They pushed this record, da 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 da. He's pushing the system that he benefited from. But I think this is a cautionary tale of, in a lot of ways, and I'm making a lot of roundabouts to get back to my point, but
Mm-hmm.
it's in a lot of ways, he mirrors a lot of what 50 went through on the lead up to Curtis with Interscope and how powerful 50 was. And when 50 was beefing with Jada, I remember 50 said something to the effect of, "I'll push Style shit back." Basically, like Styles, I believe, was on the Interscope. If I make a call, I can get all this shit shut down, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you niggas is nice. And so what to me, what Drake is doing, it's not nothing similar to what the biggest of big artists do. They don't like something, hey man, I ain't doing it. You make so much money with these labels, I ain't doing it. What it boils down to is, we know these labels is on some bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Def Jam with the needle and the turntable, that ain't the same Def Jam, cuz. And if we begin to censor people's lyrics, if we begin to threaten this shit, the integrity, it's just all coming to light because of the players that's in it.
Yeah, because
And
this isn't because I was gonna say like with Justin Hunt was talking about this when the news first dropped, and I had the same thought, right? Like
mhm,
I'm not putting it past that, like, yo, he probably was doing some stuff behind the scenes to get stuff blocked. But I'm like, Def Jam dropping Pusha T and the Clipse, especially because Def Jam cold right now. Like, there's nothing really coming out of Def Jam, especially from hip hop, that's really been like moving the needle for a long time, if we're being honest. And
mhm.
like, this is a big release. Like when like No Malice and Pusha T getting back together after over a decade and a half. Like, yeah,
With a
like that's
with
gonna be a big
with a
deal.
verse from with a verse from a dude that's threatening to have the longest running number one in American music history, number
Right.
one single.
Like the number one
This
rapper in the world right
the
now.
nigga hotter than fish grease, and Def Jam was like, "Nah, I think we
Nah, cause
good."
we don't wanna upset Drake. And I'm like, that just sounds crazy. But
It,
more stuff has come out where it's like, oh, like Pusha T and Def Jam have been butting heads since 2018 when he dissed Drake with the story of Adidon, like all that long ago.
sorry, excuse me.
Ah, no problem. But like, there's been tension there. So this is more like,
Yeah,
this is the last straw. Especially like, all right, this is my first album with my brother, and like, for 15 years, and this is gonna be a huge deal. I don't want this being hampered because y'all are pussyfooting around the Canadian and his feelings. So it's
I
like
admire the
I can
integrity of.
understand that. No, I'm just gonna say like I
Yeah,
understand like now like okay, I'm still surprised that Def Jam was willing to let them go even for a 7-figure payout. Like I'm still surprised that they were that willing to do it. But like I
yeah.
completely understand why Push took the stance he took. Not only just for his integrity, but it's like, yo, y'all been playing with me
Hmm.
behind this dude and his sensitive ass for like years at this point. Like, yo, I'm not holding nothing back. Like I at this point, cause I said, yo, Drake and Kendrick, okay, it was a great battle, but and you know the allegations levied against Drake was heavy, right? But I still maintain. I mean, yeah, that's an understatement. But like, I still maintain that the reason why he going out like this has everything to do with his actions. Like, if he would have listened to people and would have went away for a year, all the other BS that he was doing, because people were like, yo, he can't go away, that's gonna make him look bad. And I'm like, I don't think it would make him look any worse than how he's been looking since this beef. Every move that he's made has been wrong. Like, my issues with Drake have everything to do with how Drake has decided to approach this thing post battle, and the lawsuit was the cherry on top. I always say I don't think Not Like Us was gonna be a big song, but does it get as big as it does if Drake doesn't give people the fuel to want to keep playing the song every time he did some hoe shit? Like, he was on the court with DeMar DeRozan. Oh yeah, let's run up Not Like Us again. He had like a hoe. Like, he did the Fighting Irish freestyle, and he dry snitching on LeBron. That song went right back up to #1 right after that. And it was just, every time he would do something, it would just be like, yeah, oh, the Super Bowl happened. The Super Bowl announcement. Maul gets on the Royal Maul podcast and goes, oh, well, yeah, like, Drake they offered it to him a bunch of times, but he turned it down. What? That nigga lying. Played Not Like Us. Like, that's how everybody reacted. Kendrick didn't have to say a word. He didn't have to do much promotion at all. It was Drake out here looking so bothered that made people want to listen to the song because they knew it got under his skin. And it's like, if you gonna act like a bitch, we gonna keep playing this song.
Man, it's an exercise in really what you just said is the kind of the underlying theme of Kendrick's point in his battle with Drake. From Euphoria to Not Like Us, hell, even Watch the Party Die. I more so look at a lot of this because I don't know if what. Let me start by saying I don't know if what everything Push is saying in the interview is true. You can only take a man at his word.
Yeah, of course.
But what I will say is the most interesting thing to me in all of this is UMG's involvement.
Yeah.
Mostly speaking, Lucian Granger's involvement. Because him and his son basically own about 70% of the market share in American music right now. And distro, like, they basically, it's like a conglomerate, these two people. What I thought was interesting is I understand Drake in this sense. I've been making this company billions for a decade. I'm one of the highest selling music artists ever, not just hip hop, just ever. I'm literally a pop star. I understood that he might have went into this battle with Dot thinking, because one thing that just always stuck out to me, he was talking the most shit and was like, and now it makes UMG was like, once the tide flipped, they put the machine behind Dot, and Drake was like, wait a damn second, you motherfuckers was supposed to, if what was true about the story of Adidon, hold on, you motherfuckers was supposed to die, with concessions for me, they flipped it on his head. I can't lie, I understand the suit in that nature, but in the spirit of hip hop, I think Styles P said it a few years ago when I think he was with Dave East at Hot 7. Like, man, no, ain't no. Yeah, they bringing up old clips of Nori. Like, Nori said, yo, son, nah, they can call they lawyers and everything. Nah. Get your gat or your crew. Don't bring no lawyers in the hip hop. It's just a thing about the litigation part and the idea of, unfortunately, it's going to have. I'm just looking at everything now in its full totality. This battle was going to have very long lasting ramifications as to how I really don't know if we will ever have another major beef in hip hop history.
I seriously doubt it. I don't think we'll ever have a actual beef.
Yeah, I
where,
don't
like,
think we're
people,
gonna.
like, because that's what I was gonna say about the story of Adidon. So my theory is, because that song came out on SoundCloud, it was never officially released to streaming or anything like that.
Yeah, it was SoundCloud, YouTube.
Yeah, so my theory is that because they say, hey, we have a department, UMG has their department to check lyrics and stuff like that before songs go out because they have to make sure that there's no copyright claims, like everything is
Mm-hmm.
on the up and up before it goes out for release. I don't think that song ever went through their checks and balances because he was able to put it out
Mm.
on SoundCloud. So it's like it's not officially distributed, so he wouldn't need to go to them to get permission. So I think that's where maybe the relationship between that's where really like the friction between Push and Drake went because I mean Pusha and UMG, the friction is like, oh well, you did this and you created this moment, but you didn't go through us. We didn't give you the green light to do that. And I'm thinking that that's where like the friction is in that sense,
Mm.
but also
Mm.
like yeah, like the Canadian is like one of if not the biggest. I'm gonna just keep calling him that. Fuck it, like if he's one of, if not the biggest artist that we got right now that's making us the most money. If it's not him, it's Taylor Swift. That
Mhm.
like that's making them the most money right now. So it's like we want to make sure that this guy stays happy and you're doing this and like he's not as big of a priority to UMG as Drake would be.
Yeah.
So I can see where the
Mhm.
friction is, but like but as far as like the ramifications, like I could just see Drake's not even involved. I could see labels going, this sounds like you're going at somebody. Can you take this on down? We're not gonna put this album out because we don't want the
Mhm.
headache. Just the headache of it, just dealing with it. Even if there's no basis, even if like we could tie these people up in litigation to the point where they'll go broke before we even get a verdict. Like
Yep.
they just don't want to deal with the headache. And that would just put such a major pause, even if there ain't even no beef. There ain't even no beef. Like you could rap and like I could just mention somebody in like, just some kind of current event in like then now it's like, oh, they used to be everything in hip hop. Now it could be like, oh well yeah, let's take that down because now you're making precedent to where they could try to sue you over that now. Especially if it was like you making an entendre over like an embarrassing moment or something like that.
Hey man, don't sue me. Don't file no lawsuit, man, because we dissing each other. Cause that's like, and I get it. I get the content not like us is very inflammatory.
But that's why
Hey man.
I don't give Drake no bail because he introduced that element to the battle.
Yeah, and we talked about that at nauseum. And again, it's almost like it's a bit of disillusion to think he didn't see it. Nobody foresaw not like us becoming the cultural monster that it became. Um, I just think, and even getting off, but to get off Kendrick and everything, just to have an act like the Clips and Push for that tidbit and I would like to give him some props, man, for even sticking to his guns. Just on some integrity shit. Like, just I'm not taking this verse off. And hell, the only feel like the people that claim to listen to the verses, like nobody thinks he's even shooting that, cuz, bro. So it's like, what the hell? And again, you mean to tell me you don't want a verse from him just because of the optics of his two biggest, how the kids say, ops
Yeah.
linking up on the record, but everything this dude touching is fish grease, and you mean to tell me y'all don't want that record? Oh man, it's like, and now I've seen things, man, and it could be Canadian he might be putting belt the ass behind the scenes with this litigation. I don't know, but I don't care, brother. This lawsuit, this ain't it. But again, sometimes, man, we just got to look at it. Is you a hoe ass nigga? Mm, okay. And you just continue on. I'm fresh from my run club, you know what I'm saying? Got my little run in and everything, and my little walk in. My thing is, and they were playing some Drake. His music, he's still gonna be the cultural giant he is. But I think he is a cautionary tale of when the individual is the system,
Mm-hmm.
you set a dangerous precedent on how art is received, how art is controlled. And it's always been like that with certain like juggernauts in the music industry. But man, this is hip hop is never its core principles in a way have never been that per se. And so now we're getting to a point where it's again, I was surprised at the lawsuit.
I'm not. I
I
just
somewhat
feel
understood it, but again,
I never did because I just like the lawsuit,
I understood
regardless
it in
of how you
parts.
feel, like regardless
Right.
of how you might feel about how this might have affected you, and nobody wants to be called that. I
Yeah.
don't know if YouTube is gonna
Nobody
like
want to
censor
be
me on
called a
that, but
P. Yeah, nobody want to be called that, but it's almost too like, bro. It's almost like, bro, you lost a battle.
and you
But
introduce like I just it's the fact that you have the nerve to taunt Kendrick with that.
with
You
Tupac,
taunted him with Tupac's voice, then to turn
Pac
around when he
introduced it.
used it, yeah, like he used it, and now you want to sue. Now you want to cry wolf. Now you want to say that people picking on you when you were the aggressor. Like that's why I like no matter how people can spin it. I don't care if it hurt your business. You hurt your business because you introduced this
Mm,
to your battle. This was a
mm.
self-inflicted wound. Like this was always something that you like this is your responsibility. Take accountability for this. And this is a
It's
big issue
just
with Drake that I have. Like he is big dog
right.
behind the scenes. Like he almost got Pop Smoke's album. Like Pop Smoke's album. I don't remember if it was the first or the second posthumous album at this point.
His posthumous album after he was tragically murdered. His
Yeah,
posthumous
like
album.
that album almost never saw the light of day because of a verse that had nothing to do with you, that was perceived to be a diss towards you. That almost
Hmm.
didn't see the light of day because of how you moving behind the scenes. You big dog behind the scenes, but you want to act like you in front of everybody else. It's like, yo, I'm ready for whatever. Like y'all can say what y'all want about me, and I'm ready to do this. Like that's that kind of two-faced shit. Like this is why I do not respect that. Like there's no way to spin the lawsuit in any way. Like every way I look at it, it is a self-inflicted wound. You did this to
Mm,
yourself because you were cocky, you were arrogant, and instead of accepting that, instead of taking a moment to reflect on that and the mistakes that you might have made, you're digging yourself a bigger hole. Like, yeah,
hmm.
he will always have the numbers because he's a pop star. He will never have the same level of cachet he had in hip hop.
Mm.
He would like even the album that he did with Party Next Door. I don't care how many excuses they make. That is the numbers to that song and the reception to that album proves that yeah, there are some people that like legit do not fuck with you anymore. There are like the
You know,
numbers was like, oh yeah, he did good, but it's like that's his lowest selling anything in his entire career.
the aftershocks of this battle, man, is this is incredible. That shit, that damn battle
Cause I don't
has
like, cause there's
tentacles
people
in.
that are like, yo, I don't even want to give this nigga a curious listen because this is so
Mm,
antithetical to everything that hip hop stands for. How you're moving with these labels, like hip hop has always been anti-label, it's been anti-establishment. You are the establishment. You are blackface incarnate.
but you know what? I think that's a great point. That's a good point that you made. And I want to, as far as the what you just said, as far as with hip hop, because as much as you know, known hip hop to be counterculture, anti-establishment, I think the reality is hip hop is the establishment now. Hip hop is not counterculture anymore,
But that's
and I
no,
think that, and
hip
I
hop
think
isn't
that
the establishment.
what I'm saying is,
Hip hop has been completely gentrified by the establishment because
what that
like
okay.
because like if hip hop was the establishment,
Hmm.
the establishment would be moving according to hip hop. But hip hop is moving according to the rules of the establishment.
Hmm.
Basically,
And that's
everybody's like,
yeah.
we're willing to sacrifice everything that hip hop is to get paid. Like we just
Hmm.
give a little bit until we have somebody like Drake who is basically the whitest of white men behind the scenes, but he can
Hmm.
play nigga in front of the camera.
Hmm.
Like that's
And
what
what
hip hop
yeah.
is now. And that's why it's like that's why it's in the position it's in right now. If it's not Drake, it's not Kendrick, they ain't nothing hitting the charts like that. Doechii is
Right.
in the top 10 But outside of that, most of these niggas can't crack the top 50 because hip hop sacrificed everything that made it the cultural like touchstone that it is. So,
Yeah, and what I mean is it's a and what I mean by it's now the establishment. It's capitalism in a lot of ways, and and it goes back to the profit margins of the profitization of or the commercialization of art and how hip hop is now. It is a symptom of a lot of its success. The symptoms of capitalism, how it's and Drake's success has been the biggest marker of that. It's not a surprise that he's been the biggest artist while hip hop is the number one genre in the world. And now, like you say, can't nobody chart. It's not sticking. Labels are consolidating. And this is why this Kendrick and Drake battle has been the biggest thing. Probably one of the top five canon events in hip hop history. And very most in the for sure top 10. Because now we're in a new era. We're in a new era and of lawsuits and now of free speech, court. A lot of these have now hit the boardroom, and we are about to now see. And it's going to be one thing I will say that Push played this, and I say Push because he did a lot of the talking on the subject. Played this quite well because now that damn Kendrick verse is now going to be heavily anticipated. And it's damn good promo for what this album is. I don't care because I'm a Clipse fan through and through, regardless. But I think that this is just a prime example. This whole situation is a prime example of kind of the underlaying battle of what Kendrick and Drake meant, what they two respectively meant to the culture. Drake kind of represented for a lot of folks a lot of the shit that they didn't like about hip hop, the commercialization, and Kendrick kind of has a purity. But I think the funny part about it is, man, Kendrick is a damn commercial juggernaut. This is not no underground rapper like Blue. Shout out to Blue. This is about to have, he has two tours in $100 million range of gross. And I mean, this dude is a Pulitzer Prize winner, over 20 Grammys won. He is as commercial as you can be, but the thing about it, it never felt like he sacrificed or he cut corners with his sound, his music,
it was
his
authentic
integrity. Everything felt like that. And I would say that at
because
a point,
Drake is
yeah.
the personification in hip hop of fake it till you make it. And I think, yo, like for real, like when, because this is the thing, it's like, cause somebody, I think it
Right.
was Deontay Kyle on Instagram. He was talking about how if you fake it till you make it, but when you make it, you got to keep
Mm,
faking it. Like you can't stop faking. Like when you get in the door, like
hmm
you all like so. Drake has never really been himself because he blew up pretending to be Lil Wayne, pretending to be from Memphis, pretending to be
Say,
Jamaican, yeah, pretending to be Fonte, pretending to be Joe Budden. Like he pretended to be the people and continue to pretend and take on new personas and new styles and just engulf them all the while he is Lucian Grange behind the scenes. He's Jimmy Iovine behind the scenes. He's Leora Cohen behind the scenes.
mm,
Like this is how this man has moved and like this is why like when I heard the story about French Montana and how he did French. And I'm no French
mm,
Montana fan. You know, French Montana's cool, but like I've never really
hmm
been a fan like that. But hearing that story and how dirty he did him, that's why Rick Ross jumped into the battle. And then you start kind of
hmm
piecing these stuff together, like, oh, you did that the French. You were trying to hold down Pusha T behind the scenes because you couldn't beat him on the microphone in 2018. Like you was still taunting
mm,
him, you still dissing him on records, throwing little jabs here and there, but like you know that he can't reply back because you got it to where UMG is gonna try to like squash it before he could even get it out there. So
Yeah.
that's the kind of dirty moving that he's doing. But like this to me is worse. Like this lawsuit and the fact that it hasn't been dismissed, that's already because he could go to court and get completely embarrassed. And then there's no way they're gonna rule in your favor. But the fact that it's gone this far, I can already see where it's like there's gonna be a certain level of hesitation, even if Drake's not involved. Like nobody's taking shots at Drake. There's gonna be a certain hesitation when it comes to certain music. Now hip hop is gonna be heavily scrutinized when lyrics go out because they just don't want to deal with the headache of a lawsuit, no matter where it's coming from.
Man, we in for one interesting second half of the year in hip hop because it feels like the genre has been dry, and maybe this Clips album feels like a reopening of the year. There's been some good independent releases. Shout out to Huey Briss. He got a dope project out from the
Boldly
West
James been
Coast.
put out like
Yup.
5 projects this year, and all of them except for one. I ain't gonna say which one, but except for one that I wasn't really feeling like that. But other than that, all the other projects he's been putting out have been high quality. There's a lot of, I mean, and Larry June and Two Chains. That's still one of my favorite albums.
Yup. It just feels like the big dogs ain't, you don't hear nothing from. Last year was such an action-packed year.
But really,
It's
like,
gonna be.
so what are there any big dogs besides Kendrick and Drake at this point? Like Cole, yeah,
Oh,
Cole, but like
if
really
all the
move
if
the
all the
needle type
rumors
of
are
hip
true,
hop.
even man, it's nah. You just, and we mostly focus a lot of the men. I know the women have consistently been,
Even though,
last two
like,
years.
cause I didn't want to disrespect them, but I'm like, I mean, cause Meg is a star. I feel like she's a star everywhere outside of music. Same with
What the
Cardi B.
genre is really missing is, yeah, what the genre really missing is just an infusion of a. You need a young superstar in the genre,
Like
and none
Dochi's
of C's, yeah, and it just feels like none of the younger MCs are making their mark outside of like a Doechii, and who, to be honest, you just don't. I really don't know. I'm more so just curious to sit back and watch, and to have, again, man. I go back to say, man, it's good to have Push, and I think we kept saying no Malice, but I think he's back calling himself Malice,
okay.
and it's good to see them back. It's good to see that. Yeah, and now we also know that Kendrick couldn't be the feature that Push has been talking about he's waiting on. And I'll say this: if Hove is on this record, man, and just then with Rock Nation, this Clips album is high now. I feel like it's gonna be highly anticipated.
Oh
It's
yeah,
gonna be some thoughts surrounding it. I'm interested, but it's just, again, and nobody moves the needle like the yellow man from Canada, and my size 7 foot guy. Nobody moves the needle like them two. Them two dudes move the needle. I think this just proves it. They move the needle to a point where it is getting tiring to always bring them up when, but I think, and I've seen people complaints about why I've pushed bringing them up. But I think you can't. The stories are intertwined.
I
The
mean, yo,
stories are
they
intertwined
just
with each
answering
other.
questions too. It's like, yeah, our album got held up because of the Canadian, and it
And I've
got
seen
held
people,
up because of
yeah,
a verse from Kendrick.
and I've seen people say, well, Push can just say I'm not answering that. But I can see, again, their beef from 2018 has now reverberated to Kendrick and his beef, and now the aftershocks of that still affects them to this day. But now that they're free agents. I'm eagerly anticipating this album. Because, again, I knew Kendrick was on the album. I didn't care that much.
Yeah, I
But
mean, it
then
was
when
kind
the
of
when the
like,
news broke, yeah.
yeah,
But it's like, cool. When the news broke, it's like, okay, now what's this verse about now?
yeah. I mean, like, what was in there that made UMG like so cautious to the point where they were willing to drop the clips? They were willing to like
And
let
did
that go.
drop them. And because I'm be honest, if I was Def Jam, I'm not letting Push out that deal. I don't care how much money you want to pay, brother. If, as a business, but something was like, I'm glad Push got out that deal. I'm
Yeah,
glad the Clips found a home with Rock Nation. Again, it just goes back to, man. Excuse me, brother. I'm so sorry.
Nah,
I
you
am.
good. I'm tired. I'm
Your
yawning
boy,
too.
your boy a little tired. But man, it just goes back to, man, it's like I think Pac said this on Parts of Me. Come down, you riders of punks. Which side you on? And it's like I feel like I'm an old head, old ass by saying that. But if you understand, and there's nuance in all of this,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I have to look at it too, man. Like, hey, if you want to defend a man for suing, that's your right. Do what you got to do. I ain't here to argue with you.
Oh no, I'm here to argue.
For me, and I love that you fighting a good fight. For me personally, it's almost like what you expect from this brother. He is who he is. He's always been who he's always been. There's been nothing else about this brother that screams he ain't who he is. I think
Well,
sometimes the music was just so popular. He's all he
I was just
people
gonna
always
say
thought he was
that
a little
too, because that
corny.
that Pop Smoke story came out years ago, and I'm like, I remember hearing that, but I didn't pay it enough. I didn't pay it enough attention. I don't know why. It just kind of like it flew over the radar. But that should have been really the ghostwriting should have been what should have been what got him out of here. But like stories like
Hey,
that, I don't
when
understand how that stuff kind of comes and goes. Like why are like we're looking back on it now? Like how do we let that slide?
sometimes when you drop a slap, baby, sometimes when you drop a little guys playing on nice for what,
Yeah.
people will let things slide. And I think the rules have changed. I think we have to admit that the rules and the codes of the game have changed.
But that's why I
And
say
some
you got to take the good with the bad because the rules have changed
yeah,
and people are relaxing the rules, and now the game fucked up. The
but it's
rules
almost
were
like,
in place for a
yeah.
reason, so it's like you want to say like, okay, that was some old head shit. If you want to, cool. You new niggas. I said at the end of my last video too. I said you new niggas get on the
Mhm.
charts. Get on the charts and start selling some records and then tell me your shit works or not. Like, oh yeah, we are like whatever, like that's some old head shit. Okay, cool. Sell some records, sell some tickets, knock them people that are 35 plus off the top of the charts, then come back and tell me. Because you telling me that y'all on y'all shit and y'all doing what y'all want to do, but the shit ain't selling. The shit ain't working. So it must not be
Nope.
that that interesting. Because it's like
Ain't
five niggas at
nobody,
the show.
ain't nobody buying music. There's a larger convo to be had, man.
Nobody, I
Ain't
mean,
nobody
nobody buying
buying
music, but they
music.
not streaming it either. They not
Nope.
like these. Like I said, you can look at the top of the charts. And that's not just hip hop. That's not just hip hop. Majority of the people that are at the top of the charts that are selling the most records, that are like selling out tours, are 30 plus
Hmm.
across all genres.
We have no new stars like that. We just don't. And it's again, this everything. This just feels like a dangerous precedent is being set by Drake.
Hmm.
Um, and I don't know if he intended it to be this way, but it feels like it's almost like
I don't think so because he's selfish.
I'm burning everything to the ground
I don't think he ever thought about anything beyond himself.
because he
He didn't
hasn't
think about
publicly.
his wider
Hmm.
influence or anything like that. That's what I was saying. Like you being the top guy, because people were like, "Why are we so hard on Drake?" You're the top guy. This is the position that you wanted. You
The
said it from
culture
day
moves
one.
when
You
you
wanted to
move.
be. So if the whole culture is
Hmm.
in a bad spot with you being number one, because you are not your authentic self. You are not
Hmm.
like nobody knows who Drake is. They don't know who
Hmm.
Drake is. Who is really Drake? Because you didn't have to be authentic. You didn't have to be like you didn't have to abide by the rules of the culture. You didn't have to do nothing. As long as you had hits, follow trends, all this other stuff. That's why nothing sticks. Because the generation that you brought up, because this is your generation. Your generation right now is who you brought up. And you taught them authenticity doesn't matter. The rules of
Mm.
engagement in hip hop don't matter. Just follow trends, make hits. And the thing
We
about trends
allowed.
is trends fade.
Yeah.
Trends fade, they're here, then they're not. Niggas are hot for a year and then they're gone. Where is Ice Spice? Like that's the kind of influence that Drake has. It's like, oh, you get popping real quick, you go viral, cool. You don't know how to follow it up because you don't have anything besides that
Mm.
sound that you had that blew you up on the internet at one time. If you keep doing that, it's gonna get old. And if you try to do something different, because we don't know who you are, it doesn't stick because you can't
And we
replicate
allow
that moment. You can't replicate that moment because you don't know how to beat yourself. You're not taught to do that. You're taught to just follow the trend, make a hit, and whatever. And because Drake had the machine behind him, he could do that. But like you, this artist just getting in the door, they don't care about you enough. They're gonna make their money off of you, and then if you can't give them another hit, you out the door.
and we allow sucker shit into the genre.
So I'm saying it's like, yo, you think the rules of engagement don't matter until the shit don't work no more. Like the shit don't work no more. So it's like you can tell me that's what the young kids is into, but the shit it ain't working. The numbers told y'all niggas is numbers and stats and shit. The shit not working. Most of these niggas turn into streamers or influencers. They do not stick with the music because they know they don't have it. And if everybody gets into this shit, okay, my bad to cut you off. I'm just getting this last point out.
Are you good, brother? Go ahead.
But like, if everybody is just in this thing, because that's the thing I start to see a lot, is that people are just kind of like using this as a way into the door to make their money somewhere else. If that's what it is, then of course there's no foundation. Of course there's no hit. Like nobody's really in it for the betterment of the culture. It's just using the culture to get somewhere else, to make your bag with fashion or being an influencer or whatever it is, but it's never for hip hop. It's never for the culture. And that's why the shit is where it's at right now.
My last question would be, and it's a genuine question, not for you, but for anybody out there.
Okay.
And I've always thought about this. It's like if you know a cat like Drake in your real part in your personal life, not some internet shit, not just defending because you like his music, and he was moving how he's been alleged to move, would you fuck with this dude seriously, or would you call him a hoe ass nigga?
Oh,
That's
I
a
know the answer to that
genuine.
for me.
That's a genuine question. Would you? And if you say you wouldn't, I think you need to relitigate why you might be defending his actions with this lawsuit and the consequences that it's having. Because I'm pretty sure this Clip situation ain't gonna be the first and last that behind the scenes this beef and the aftermath of it has affected. And again, would you respect the cat the dude Drake is in his life? Would you respect him in your personal life? Fuck what you got to say on the internet. You say anything. But in real life, would you respect, bro? If not, I know what come on now. Would you respect, cuz? Would you respect this thing and how he move? And I keep asking it because it, a lot of us wouldn't. We wouldn't respect that.
No.
A slap don't necessarily won't buy yourself out of that type of cultural currency, or or however folks be saying it. You won't get none of that. But I guess, man, in the end, my final thoughts, man, would be: are we surprised?
I'm not. I'm not surprised. I'm just like, I'm more worried about the culture. Like whatever,
Yeah,
it's kind of like, cool. Whatever Kendrick, Push, Drake, whatever they do is what they do. It's just I like after the smoke is settled, after
yeah,
Drake's career is over and he's done. What does the culture look like because of the ramifications of this lawsuit? Like that's what I'm worried about more than anything. Like, are people going to be free to be able to make the music they want to make, or is there going to be a lot of music that we're not going to be able to listen to? Like, we almost
yeah.
didn't get this Clipse album because of how the Canadian moving behind the scenes. There's no telling how much music could be left on the cutting room floor because of stuff like this, because of concerns like this.
Whew. Man, if we didn't get this Clips album because of the Canadian, I would have went to the embassy myself. Hey, big dog, nah, we shooting a fair one. You know, fuck you mean we can't get no the new Clips album because you want to act like a little hoe? Man, you
Yeah.
better start playing, man. For me to tell me you gonna deprive me of a Stove God Cook feature with the Clips because you want to act like a hoe? Man, forget the Kendrick
All that
verse.
sensitive shit.
Man, hey man, square up, dog. I ain't even trying to hear. I don't even care if I get stomped out by his security, whatever. We fight me. This is a fair one.
A fair one. I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna need
It's
that.
a
I need
fair.
that
I'm gonna need
favor.
that. You need that. So yeah, man. It's just are we surprised? And if you're not, then you got your answer.
Fair. man. But yeah, I think we've talked enough shit. I think we're gonna go ahead and call it a day. Like, yo, appreciate you jumping on, man. Cause yeah, we've been had like a few conversations about this, and I was like, yeah, we got to get on camera and talk about this, cause
For sure.
this is
You
nuts.
already know, my brother, this has been a good talk, man. And I'm just like,
Yeah, man.
oh,
I'm like I
this is
said, like
crazy,
I'm not
man. This is
surprised,
crazy.
but I'm worried about the culture. That's all. I'm just like, okay, what does this look like after this? Like, what does freedom of speech in hip hop look like after this?
I tell you what we can't do. We just can't sit back and let it happen.
Facts. That's
We
what we have in
we
conversations
have
like
to,
this.
yeah, and we got to be proactive in defending freedom of speech, the freedom of art. We have to defend this at every turn
Mhm.
because it's not just that, and people, it's not that deep. It is that deep
It is.
because then it would just reverberate into other spaces. And it might not have the consequences immediately, but 3 years down the line, this could absolutely creep back and have an even much bigger impact.
Hmm.
So yeah, man, this is something for sure.
Yeah, man. But yeah, we gonna call it a wrap. It's been your boy Bitty Dangerous, the homie Southside Jus, 1430. Till next time, much love.
Peace.